Welcome to the Many Worlds Podcast. Listener discretion is advised. This anthology is a work of fiction. Any characters, events, and businesses have been fictionalized or completely fabricated. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental, or happened in an alternate dimension. Sorry, I've been gone a while. Life has a way of kicking you in the teeth. Someday I'll tell you about all the things that I lost, all the ways that I lost them. But that's not a tale for today. No, today I'm thinking about stupidity and all the stupid things that we see and how hard it is for your average man to be not fucking stupid. One of my favorite YouTube artists says, "Don't be stupid, stupid." There's a lot of stupidity out there right now, a lot of foolishness, a lot of morons, a lot of people who take for granted that they walk around most of the time with a computer in their pocket and you can look up the truth at any moment. So yeah, don't be a fucking idiot. Don't be a sap. Don't be dummy. A lot of us can't help it. Hell, even I'm fucking stupid sometimes. Sometimes you know you're being stupid even in the moment you're being stupid. Anyway, here's a tale to take your mind off the worries of all the fucking stupidity going on in the world.
Friend, blink.
There is a steep hill that curves towards the Plainfield exit. When I was a kid, my parents told me the bright yellow Denny's sign was how we would know we were home. All three of us piled into the back seat of our 1988 Ford Taurus, and as we rounded that big hill, the bright yellow sign hit us in the face. A beacon to let us weary pilgrims know that our beds and the smell of the house was just moments away. Night has fallen, and my wife is passed out in the front seat. She drank too much at the party, but it was good to get out. I can't believe how good she looked in her pink dress. She'd been worried that it was too showy, but everyone complimented her and reminisced about old times in high school. I didn't go to high school with her friends, but I smiled and nodded nonetheless. The only time I lost track of her is when I went outside to smoke. She looked pretty drunk when I got back. But hey, it was a party. The party-goers were having a good time. I had just needed to get away for a minute. Summon up the courage to say goodbye and drive home. You know? I smiled at her as she swayed. The seatbelt was tight around her chest as the slow thump of the tires vibrated over the cracked Michigan blacktop. "Almost home," I said, more to myself than to her. "Think you can fuck me, don't ya?" she said, her head down to her chest, swaying with the movements of the car. "What? No, you're going straight to bed. We'd both puke," I said. "You think you can fuck me?" she screamed, and her voice went so high I thought my eardrums would split. I looked over at her face and it was ghastly white. Her mouth gaped open with strings of spit leaking out. Teeth long and jagged black shards. With a deafening blackout-inducing crack, she tears through the seatbelt and into my neck. The growl is carnal and piss-your-pants-inducing. Something vibrated deep in her chest like a cat. I blacked out as the car spun, then flipped. I woke up thrown from the car and bloody on the concrete. It wasn't the pain at first that told me I was in trouble. It was the limp feeling on my left side. I looked back and saw the yellow of the Denny's sign. That had always brought me comfort. And now I couldn't feel anything. Then I heard the dragging of fabric on the blacktop. It was my wife crawling towards me, the dress torn and soot-covered. When I look at her, I notice her legs were missing, skin scraped and broken, still stalking me like prey. She bit into me again, deep into my thigh. I screamed she was a monster. I felt her taking in my flesh and somehow feeding on my spirit. As she consumes me, she gives back to me. Our souls touched. As other cars crashed, the light from the sign powered my soul. I feel the love in this most visceral and intimate act. People screaming in terror, and God, it felt good to be alive. And that's why I'm sitting here bashing your fucking firefighter's skull in. Oh God, can you fucking feel it, man? That light. A rebirth is coming. I fucking love you, man. Now let me take a taste off those cheeks. The meat looks so good.
The Chappelle Show is one of the all-time funniest shows I've seen in my lifetime. There's a skit called When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong. It's hilarious, about a woman who is so insecure and wrapped up in her own bullshit that she destroys her entire life, trying to keep it real, trying to have that honor, trying to be real tough. The real ones, they ain't gotta say that they the real ones. So there's also a term out there on the internet. They call it, what's it called? Yeah, that's right. Fuck around and find out. Sometimes whole groups of people fuck around and have to find out exactly how they fucked up. This is one of those stories.
Perversions of Fate. It was at the threshold to the ziggurat. I thought I saw the ink-black statue move. Stones don't move. Ink-black and with the rough outline of a human. There were 3 of us locked in for the night with the great king's body. They called him Sargon the Great, servant of the civilized goddess Inanna. He was draped in linen, saturated with holy oils, and the pulverized fat and ash of 13 slaughtered calves. I remember being a 10-year-old virgin then. The light in the ziggurat began to dim as they ran an obsidian blade along our faces. My heart pounded against my ribcage like a trapped animal as I watched the ink-black thing I thought had been a mere shadow lurch out of the darkness. Ininia, sensing danger before I did, took off running with lightning speed, but it was too late. The creature's hand shot forward like a coiled snake and snatched her mid-stride. In an instant, she disappeared into the void, replaced by nothing but the sound of her panicked breathing being drowned out by the slithering darkness pouring down her throat and suffocating her from within. As I looked on in horror, the shadows seemed to pulse and writhe with malevolent energy, as if alive with wicked intent. It was clear that whatever this monstrous entity was, it meant us harm, and we were its helpless prey. Feza's desperate sobs pierced the air as the chamber filled with a sinister darkness. Her struggling cries echoing against the walls grew more and more webbed as the shadows smothered her, near consuming her fragile figure until all that remained were tortured gasps and whimpers. I felt my legs buckle beneath me. My throat was frozen in terror, unable to scream out for help. I pissed myself then. I have never been so frightened. I didn't know then, but I'd never fear again. It loomed menacingly above me as I struggled to breathe. My parents had handed me over to the priests, devoted servants of the Hierophant and Enodia. Though I was faithful to Inanna more than the others, she wasn't there for me, making me wonder if she even cared. The ink monster lunged towards me, a gleam of malice in its eye. Its claws plunged into my skin and ripped through the cut on my face. I felt something ancient and powerful enter my veins, sending electric shocks throughout my bones. White light filled my vision as words poured out of me, seeping through every pore in my body like an unstoppable river. My muscles were seized with tremors as if I had become one with the ink monster. The words for life and light, for darkness and destruction rolled off my tongue as if I had spoken them 1,000 times before. I felt the power of each syllable vibrating through me as I uttered them. I saw the paths to destruction in that moment illuminated like an intricate web across the sky, all glowing with possibility. When I was finally able to catch my breath, 2 other girls were standing above me. Their eyes were both hollowed and knowing for such young children. The cuts on their faces had healed, leaving a faint black mark in the place of the original wound. I knew how I looked to them, all sharp lines and animalistic stares. The ley lines reverberated. I could feel the very fabric of reality around me, flowing through me. So much power everywhere. I was to lead our group. My sisters and I emanated a combined power that few had ever seen before. We'd taken on the mantle of brides of the threefold god, no longer Inanna's daughters. We'd become the brides of the inky black, kissed by pain, barren wombs filled with the keys to many worlds, forever like the heaven and earth. We walk down the ziggurat steps. The priests who took us from my parents bow, then die when I speak the words. Even those of high standing bowed to us, while others stepped back in reverence. But we do not see them, nor could we see or care about the new king. I and my sisters look off into the distance, into the gaping maw of chaos, and laughed, little girls no more.
And with that, another episode closes. Like another episode will begin at some point. Next time, we will talk about The Witch and the Pimp. Kind of a long format poem that started it all, that I heard and decided to embellish. Please like and subscribe on anywhere you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, YouTube even. On the YouTube channel, there'll be videos to go along with the stories that I'm telling.